IRA assets can be a great way to accumulate tax deferred wealth. However, distributions from a traditional IRA trigger a tax bill. Thoughtful planning about the timing of distributions are important not only for the account owner, but now more than ever, also the account owner's beneficiaries. Today, I'm going to share 3 things you need to know about inherited IRA assets. The rules have changed about retirement assets and how you can transfer them to future generations. Prior to 2020, the IRA was considered a great tool to extend income tax deferred growth for multi generational wealth. You see, individuals named as beneficiaries of IRA assets had the opportunity to stretch the IRA dollars by taking minimum required distributions over their lifetimes. For instance, an adult child in their 50s could extend growth for over several decades, while grandchildren could extend even longer. However, in 2020, the ability to stretch an IRA asset was significantly reduced with the passing of the Secure Act. There are now 2 overall beneficiary categories: eligible designated beneficiaries and non-eligible designated beneficiaries. For eligible designated beneficiaries like spouses, minor children, and disabled individuals, the rule does not actually change much. Most can still open an inherited IRA and elect to take distributions over their life expectancies. Alternatively, a spouse can treat the IRA as their own. However, for non-eligible designated beneficiaries, think adult children of the account holder, IRA assets inherited after 2019 must be distributed within a 10-year period of the owner's passing. Those who inherited an IRA after 2019 may need to begin taking required minimum distributions during this 10-year payout period, starting in 2025. That's my second thing you need to know. While the Secure Act was passed back in 2020, it took the IRS over 4 years for clarification on beneficiary required minimum distributions, also known as RMDs. In fact, the final regs were just issued in July of 2024. In practice, this means that in cases where an account owner had already taken 1 or more RMDs before death, the beneficiary must also take RMDs. They can elect to take more than the minimum, but the RMD must be taken each year. And 2025 is the first year this will be enforced. Of course, this is in addition to the requirement to fully distribute within the 10-year period. Number 3, my last and probably most important tip. Planning has never been more important for all stakeholders, IRA owners and their beneficiaries alike. Let's start with IRA owners. It's important to proactively consider your beneficiary choices. People typically name a spouse or a significant other as the primary beneficiary, with children as the contingents. In the case of a large IRA, a more strategic approach would be to split things up, perhaps leaving 80% to a spouse and 20% to children, for example. The spouse could then name the children as their beneficiaries and potentially extend the account's life over 2 10-year clocks. It may also be wise to consider a potential beneficiary's tax position. For example, if an account owner has heirs in different tax brackets, those in the lower bracket might be better candidates to inherit a large IRA. Similarly, if you have named a charity to get a bequest in your will, you may consider, in fact, removing them from your will and naming them directly as part of a beneficiary for your retirement assets, because they don't need to pay income taxes on the distributions from IRA accounts. Lastly, you may also want to reconsider naming a trust as a beneficiary due to the inability to extend distributions past 10 years, coupled with the high trust tax rates that will apply. Beyond beneficiary selection, there are some steps that account owners can take preemptively to potentially benefit their heirs. One strategy that's received quite a bit of airtime is converting a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA and paying taxes up front so that beneficiaries can inherit the account income tax-free if certain criteria are met. A Roth conversion would reduce the size of your estate and may be an interesting option, particularly during volatile markets like we've seen today. However, it's important to consider this carefully because a Roth conversion cannot be undone. Each investor, of course, is unique and your financial plans are built accordingly. Now, let's talk about planning options for heirs of retirement assets. As I already mentioned, in many scenarios, the tax-deferred growth in IRAs must be squeezed into this short 10-year window after death, just 1 decade. Being thoughtful about when and how you take distributions will be an important part of the beneficiary's retirement plan. For instance, beneficiaries will want to pay attention to what their anticipated income is throughout this 10-year period, and perhaps take greater distributions in low-income years. If a beneficiary's tax picture is unlikely to change much in the coming years, one option would be for them to take distributions proportionally over this 10-year window. In the first year, take 1/10, then 1/9, then 1/8, etc., etc. For many of our clients, their primary goal is maintaining their lifestyle throughout retirement. And assets left to heirs is a secondary factor. However, with the new set of rules and regulations, it may be a great time to revisit the tax and estate planning aspects of your retirement plan. Of course, we look forward to continued conversations with you and your family. Please reach out if there's anything that I've discussed today that you would like to explore. Take good care.